Have you ever poured your entire heart and soul into someone only to find out it was all built on a foundation of lies? This is a story about that kind of heartbreak, but also about the incredible strength it takes to walk away and rediscover yourself. Let's call them Mark and Sarah. To everyone who knew them, they were the perfect couple. They'd been together since college, building a life brick by brick. Mark was the steady, dependable type. He worked hard, not just at his job, but at their relationship. He remembered the little things, her favorite flowers, the way she took her coffee, the silly inside jokes that only they understood. He wasn't just a husband. He was her biggest fan, her rock, her partner in every sense of the word. He believed their love was a fortress, unshakable and true. But lately, something had felt off. A subtle shift in the air, a distance that hadn't been there before. Sarah was more secretive with her phone, her laughter seemed a little forced, and her late nights at work were becoming more frequent. Mark, trusting her completely, brushed off his concerns. He told himself he was being paranoid, that every long-term relationship had its ebbs and flows. He decided to double down on his efforts, to show her how much he cherished her. He planned a surprise weekend getaway, a romantic dinner, anything to bridge the gap he felt growing between them. One evening, he came home early, excited to surprise her with tickets to her favorite band. He walked in, calling her name, but the house was quiet, too quiet. A strange feeling washed over him. He found her in the living room, staring at her phone with a smile he hadn't seen directed at him in a long time. When she looked up, her smile vanished, replaced by a flicker of panic. "Hey, you're home early," she said, her voice a little too bright. Mark held up the tickets, his own smile faltering. "I thought we could—" he started, but his words trailed off as he noticed her screen. A message notification had just popped up. The name wasn't one he recognized, and the message ended with a heart emoji. A very specific heart emoji they used to share. His own heart felt like it had dropped into his stomach. "Who's that, Sarah?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. She quickly locked her phone, a dismissive laugh escaping her lips. "Oh, it's just a coworker. We're working on a big project. You're being so silly." She laughed again, a sound that used to be music to his ears but now sounded like shattering glass. It was a practiced, hollow laugh, the kind of laugh someone uses to cover a lie. He looked into her eyes, searching for the woman he fell in love with, the woman who had promised to love and honor him. All he saw was a stranger. "A project?" he repeated, the pieces of the puzzle clicking into place with sickening clarity. The late nights, the secret phone calls, the emotional distance. It all made a terrible kind of sense. He pressed for the truth, not out of anger, but out of a desperate need to understand. He laid out his suspicions, the little inconsistencies he had tried so hard to ignore. With every point he made, she would just laugh. "You're imagining things," she'd say. "You're being insecure, Mark. Don't you trust me?" She tried to turn it around on him, to make him feel like he was the one with the problem. She was gaslighting him, and the casual cruelty of it was breathtaking. He watched her, this woman he had built his world around, and saw her not as a partner, but as an actress playing a part. She was laughing while she was lying, dismantling their life together with a smile on her face. And in that moment, something inside Mark broke. But it wasn't his spirit. It was the chain of devotion that had bound him to this illusion. The pain was immense, a physical ache in his chest. But underneath the pain, a new feeling began to emerge. Clarity. He realized he wasn't just fighting for a relationship that was already gone. He was fighting for his own dignity. He deserved better than lies wrapped in laughter. He deserved honesty. He deserved respect. He stopped talking. He just looked at her, really looked at her, and saw the truth she was trying so desperately to hide behind her false amusement. The laughter died in her throat when she saw the look in his eyes. The game was over. He didn't yell. He didn't scream or beg. The fight had gone out of him, replaced by a profound and heavy certainty. He stood up, his movements calm and deliberate. "I see," he said, his voice steady. He walked over to the small table by the door, placed his house key down, and then turned to face her one last time. There were no tears in his eyes. There was no anger, no pleading. There was only a quiet finality. He had given her everything, and she had laughed as she threw it away. Now there was nothing left to say. He walked out the door without looking back, leaving behind the woman who was still standing in stunned silence, the sound of her own false laughter echoing in a now empty home. He walked away from the lies, from the betrayal, and from the life they had built. He was walking into an unknown future, one filled with pain and uncertainty. But for the first time in a long time, he was also walking toward the truth. He was walking toward himself. The days that followed were a blur of grief. Every corner of his new, empty apartment reminded him of what he'd lost. But with each passing day, the fog began to lift. He started rediscovering the man he was before he became Mark and Sarah. He reconnected with old friends, picked up hobbies he'd let slide, and poured his energy into his work. He learned to enjoy his own company again, to find joy in simple things, like a morning run or a good book. It wasn't a straight line to healing. There were moments of intense anger and sadness, but he never once regretted his decision to walk away. He learned that true strength isn't about holding on tighter. It's about having the courage to let go of what's breaking you. He didn't need her laughter to be happy. He was finding his own again, and this time it was real. This story isn't just about the pain of betrayal. It's a powerful reminder of our own self-worth. It's about recognizing when love has turned into a performance and having the strength to leave the theater. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is to love yourself enough to walk away from someone who doesn't. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content that explores the complexities of life and relationships. We'd love to have you as part of our community. See you in the next video.